Hooray, hooray. All right, so hi everybody and thanks for joining us live today.
Absolutely.
We have Mac, you want to introduce yourself and what we're going to be doing today?
Yeah, I'm Mac Tuggle, author of This Way to Wall Street. And today we're just going to be exploring the blockchain and cryptocurrencies and really just trying to open up the conversation so that there's a shared knowledge base in our community. It is an emerging technology, so there are a few experts, but nobody's really an expert yet. So today is really just to answer some questions that I've been receiving or that I receive frequently, and just to make sure that we're all participating in this new financial asset.
Okay, that sounds great. I know very little about cryptocurrency. I know a little bit about the stock market, a little bit about just a little bit about options, basically options trading. That's
Okay.
like the extent of my stock market knowledge. So like blockchain, crypto, all this is like completely new to me. So I'm really excited to have you here.
Good.
So so what, we're gonna pause for a second, you guys. You know, we downtown. Thanks everybody for joining. Awesome. So just want to just dive right in because I'm curious, like, what exactly is cryptocurrency? I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. So, cryptocurrency, once again, is a new technology, and it's a new financial asset class. So it's separate from a commodity, separate from a stock, separate from a bond. It's an actual.
So it's like an asset class. So it's like homes are assets. And then you have stocks that are assets.
Right, that's a real estate asset.
Okay, so then cryptocurrency is its own type of financial asset.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. And so essentially, it's a virtual or digital currency. Typically, like in the United States, the Federal Reserve, they print money, and that's how it gets into circulation, right? Well, a cryptocurrency is created through mining or staking, and you create new cryptocurrencies or tokens, and they're stored on the blockchain.
So can we back up for 2 seconds?
Yeah.
So when you say like cryptocurrency, I'm gonna be honest, I'm like, wait, this is online, this is kind of like, what do you mean? And then you say mining, like how does that, right, is that like, will we get into that later?
Yeah, we will, but we can touch on it a little bit right now. So that's one of the appeals of cryptocurrency is the security of it.
Okay.
I know that there's a lot of information, especially when something negative happens, it kind of receives a little bit more hype, right? When there's a hack or something like that. But that is really the appeal of cryptocurrency, is that it's a secure database, right? And that's why they call it the blockchain, because it's the way that information is stored and chained together. And it's on a distributed ledger, which means that nobody actually controls it. There's computers running nodes all over the world, and this is how the cryptocurrency is maintained. It's maintained on a distributed ledger. Nobody controls that ledger. It's completely shared.
Okay, so this is in difference of like the Federal Reserve, which for folks who don't know, the Federal Reserve is as federal as like FedEx, right? The Federal Reserve is not owned by our government. It's literally a third party that prints our money and controls our money. So I actually I had no idea that cryptocurrency worked in that way. So that's really interesting. Okay, so is that like how cryptocurrency is created, or how exactly is cryptocurrency created then?
So cryptocurrency is created, there's basically 3 ways that cryptocurrency is created, but there's 2 dominant ways that cryptocurrency is created. So the first way that cryptocurrency is created is called proof of work. So Bitcoin, which is the world's largest cryptocurrency and most notable, uses proof of work. And I know that there's been conversation out there about Bitcoin being very energy intensive, and it is a little bit.
So what is proof of work? Sorry.
Right, so proof of work is basically computers running programs to solve algorithms, and once these algorithms are solved, they create a new block. Right.
So it's a new way in which the data can be like held or measured or used.
Man, you're thinking beautifully. That's
Okay.
exactly what it is.
Oh, okay.
So
See, now I'm learning.
right, so typical storage, on a computer is in a database,
Yeah.
right? Well, blockchain takes blocks of information and then chains them together on a distributed ledger that's secure.
Okay, so we're basically like, okay, this is making so much more sense to me now. Okay, and then so what are the other ways that it is? Or
right, so proof of work once again is computers running, algorithms or trying to solve algorithms. They solve them with, pretty intense, computational power, create a new block, and as a reward, they receive Bitcoin or whatever, Ethereum or whatever, cryptocurrency is being created through that process. So that's the, one, pioneering, dominant way that it's created.
Okay.
So the other way that it's created is called proof of stake. So right now, a really big thing that's happening in the cryptocurrency world is Ethereum, which is the second largest cryptocurrency. You got Bitcoin number one, Ethereum number two. It's moving from proof of work, which is what Bitcoin uses, to proof of stake.
You were talking about this last time, right?
Right.
Okay,
So
I had no idea what you were talking about.
right. So proof of stake is basically a person putting up their coins or tokens or whatever and saying, use these to make more, or to validate the ones that are made, are being made, right?
Okay, so it's like use our web or our chains of system
Right.
to create more.
And to validate the ones that are created.
Yeah, because
based
you're
on
using
these
it
ones
to-
that are legit.
Okay, yeah.
So, and there's a lot of, money that can be made in staking because the interest rates sometimes are incredible. So, we need to know this. I mean, right now, if you stake Ethereum, I think you can get 3.5%. Cardano, which is always a top 10 token, you get like 2.7% for staking. And then you got some other ones. I got one called Algorand that I want to say 5.75% for staking. So if you know interest rates, that's pretty good. I mean, it's hard to find a stock that gives you 5% back in dividends.
Yeah.
AT&T and Procter & Gamble and some of the big names you might be able to get, but very few and far between. You're not getting no 5% from Apple for sure.
Yeah, no.
Not happening, right? So that's pretty much how crypto is created.
Okay, so and then do you want to touch on the third one? Is just kind of like app of
What's
you
that?
said the third way in which crypto is created, or
That's proof of history, which is not really a way that a lot of tokens are made, but that is another third way. It's proof of history. So you have proof of work, proof of stake, proof of history.
okay. Awesome. And then so if with proof of work, proof of stake, proof of history, like how does someone even use cryptocurrency, or how is cryptocurrency used in
Right. So I mean, that's something that's evolving every day. I mean, in the information age, over the last 20 years, I mean, literally, what we're talking about today might change tomorrow, right? Because it's it's an emerging technology, so its applications are still very unrealized. Kind of like the internet was very unrealized in the first few years of its infancy. So that's kind of where we're at with cryptocurrency. I mean, some are made specifically to do certain things. One that's really popular is Shiba Inu, right? Most people have heard of Shiba Inu. Well, that's designed,
dog.
right? Or let's say Dogecoin, right? That's another one that people are, familiar with. These are actually, designed to be used as money. So I can take Dogecoin on my crypto wallet right here, and I can go buy some Tesla merchandise or a Tesla. They're accepting Dogecoin. So there's some that's designed to be used as an actual currency.
Okay, so cryptocurrency in a way is kind of like data, or like space or data or whatever. And then some cryptocurrencies like Dogecoin is meant to be used as currency to buy things.
Right,
Like
exactly.
Bitcoin or
Bitcoin is actually meant to be used as a store of value. So it's a little bit different, and it's equatable to digital gold, right?
Okay.
So gold is an investment.
Ah.
But do we really use gold? Like, am I gonna come down to a space inside with a bar of gold? I mean, you might help my brother out just because you're a hustler. Right?
Yeah.
But you know, most of the places I go, I'm not gonna be able to use a bar of gold. Well,
Yeah.
Bitcoin's kind of the same. I mean, it is accepted places and it is used as, you
I just
know,
know, like, sometimes, like, I'll go to checkout or something, it's like Bitcoin. I'm like, paid with Bitcoin? Like, what is
no,
this?
and so yeah, it's becoming more and more common to be able to use Bitcoin, but that's not necessarily its intended
Gotcha.
purpose
Okay.
or its, developing, use. It's really being used as a store of value. Even though with, Bitcoin down probably 60% year to date, it's not even doing a good job being a store of value. So it's been a very volatile store of value.
Okay. Do you have any questions for me or anything like that?
Not yet.
Okay.
So I want to keep going on that. Another way that cryptocurrency is used is to create. I'm gonna have to back up a little bit. So you have things called layer 2 technology. Layer 2 technology is a way that new cryptocurrencies are building on top of old cryptocurrencies.
Okay, so old is like layer 1, layer 2 is the
Like
new building
Ethereum,
off.
right? So a lot of tokens are built on cryptocurrencies, and there's a distinction between a currency and a token. And so, for example, Ethereum is a currency. It's defined as a cryptocurrency. Shiba Inu is built on top of Ethereum, and it's called a token, appropriately. So there is a distinction between a cryptocurrency and a crypto token.
So what's a crypto token?
Right, so crypto tokens, let's say for instance, Los Angeles is Ethereum, right? Let's just pretend that we're gonna say Los Angeles is Ethereum, right? And we know that, Los Angeles is only so big, right? It can only go out so big and only so many people can fit inside of it. And even furthermore, Los Angeles is really, really expensive, right? And it's very, very crowded, right?
Yeah.
But I still need Los Angeles. It's still a very important place.
Yeah.
So how can I, capitalize on the location? I can build skyscrapers, right? And so now Los Angeles can't build out, but it can build up. And so tokens are basically that equivalent, right? They're going to Ethereum and saying, this is a very congested blockchain, but I can take this technology and build on top of it, and now
expand. Oh, okay. So now the token comes in and it's like, okay, well, listen, you're kind of congested. Let me help you. Use my tech,
use
whatever.
my city.
Use my city, and we're gonna
build
up using. Okay.
Right?
Mind blown.
Are you guys like?
Serious.
So yeah, that's kind of the distinction between a token and cryptocurrency. And so, then when you put it in that perspective, you can see, that New York is, Bitcoin, and that Los Angeles is Ethereum, and Austin, Texas is Solana. And all these places are really representative of, a new cryptocurrency, and they're building, tokens on top of it, the Shiba Inus, the Matics, the popular tokens of the world.
Okay. Nothing about this. This is like mind blowing. I'm
No,
so
that's
appreciative
good.
to have you here because, like, when I hear about cryptocurrency, I'm like, I don't like it. It's kind of like one of those things where it's like, I don't know it. Like, I don't know. You know how like I wish I would have invested in Apple when I was like a teenager or something. Not that I could have, but like I wish I would have because like
Right.
look at where it's at now, and I feel like cryptocurrency is one of those things where it's coming or it's here, and it's like either you jump on board or it's gonna pass you.
Absolutely, and that's why it's important that we have this conversation because we've seen this before. We're old enough that I remember when the internet came out, and I was using web crawler and then Internet Explorer, and I remember when I can only read on the internet, and then I started being able to interact with the internet. And there was a .com crash in the 2000s. Wiped out a lot of internet companies. but the technology and the dominant companies survive, and that's kind of like cryptocurrencies. The technology and the dominant cryptocurrencies will survive, and so we need to find those ones and grow with them.
Wow. Okay.
Katie says she loves that metaphor. It made everything click.
Oh, good.
Hooray,
Thank you.
hooray. And then I guess we can go into a little bit into like NFT, like what exactly is an NFT? Because I feel like that's in the realm, right? Those are like digital pictures or
Right.
Yeah.
So a lot of
I only know. I manage here, but I have no idea.
Right, so NFT is a non-fungible token, so it's going to get some used to saying because it's Fungible, and in the English language you want to say fungible, but it's fungible.
Fungible.
Right,
Okay.
so fungible, everybody say it.
Fungible.
So then it means what is fungible, right? Well, fungible means that we can trade the same for the same. If I have $1 and you have $1, we know that these dollars are fungible. We can trade them and nobody gains or loses anything. Well, non-fungible tokens mean that they're not the same, right? So I can have a picture of this bottle of water. Now, it's just a picture and it's a non-fungible token, but it's the first one ever made. And then you have the same token, a non-fungible token of this bottle of water, but you have the 100th token ever made. There's going to be a distinction. They're not going to be the same value. Even though they look the same, they're not fungible because I have the first one ever made and it's on the blockchain. It's proof. I have the first one ever made. So mine is going to be more valuable than yours, which is the 100th one ever made. And so therefore, they're not fungible. And so that's kind of the essence of a non-fungible token. I mean, they come in all shapes and sizes and pictures and documents and non-fungible tokens, they can come in anything. I can make this paper a non-fungible token. We can sign up a contract and make it a non-fungible token.
So why is a non-fungible token even important?
Because now you're dealing with, you're dealing with conservation. I mean, what if we can put all these documents, what if we can put all these contracts that exist in the world on the blockchain, on a secure distributed network, and they're verified. Like you can literally see it. Like this document was time-stamped and created at this time on this blockchain, right? And so, with the way the world is going and the way that the pandemic really pushed the paperless society, I mean, this is just the obvious next progression of this. And like all cryptocurrencies, non-fungible tokens, we still haven't really realized their applications, but they are, an asset, right? And so we currently are seeing uses for them, but I don't think that we're even halfway to seeing the capacity of what we can use.
Yeah, I think my sense of NFTs goes into like the art world, and I'm going to be perfectly honest and say like elitism, and I have this NFT and only I can see this, or I own this and I can share it with you if you have these special whatever and that kind of thing. But I understand as a person outside of like owning an art gallery-ish place, like outside of that, the application of an asset and owning something like that as an asset versus like keeping it from people, I guess elitism, I can see that being like a good asset for like generational wealth, or like securing NFTs or something for my kids' future, because we have no idea like what we truly don't know, like what any of this really application wise can be potentially in the future. So like I can see like the potentiality of like securing NFTs or whatever for our children and our children's children. So I can definitely see that. I guess my perspective was a little bit different, but now I appreciate understanding like where it can go as opposed to like keeping people out, but like rather it can also secure our kids' future.
We have a comment that says a great use case for NFTs is concert tickets, so they can't be resold or have fake tickets created and sold.
Ah,
right? You see a lot of artists starting to make their music NFTs, right?
Oh, yes.
Thank you for that.
Thank you for that.
We have a question
Yes.
from Alexis. What is the difference between building crypto for future generations versus, let's say, home ownership or something like that?
Of using crypto or building crypto?
Building.
So I think that would go into like the difference of like assets, like owning real estate versus owning crypto. I think
This
what
is the question,
is.
yes.
And so, yeah, 260.
Yeah, I mean, when you talk about, a portfolio and you talk about diversification, diversification is a safety net, right? And then when you get even further into asset classes and how serious you are about investing, you realize that there's something that's always going up and something that's always going down. And the more you're aware of this and the more you're able to, keep a pulse on the different asset classes, the better off you prepare your family and future generations to benefit from that natural cycle, right? So sometimes stocks go up, and sometimes bonds go up, and sometimes commodities go up, and sometimes crypto goes up, and sometimes real estate goes up. Well, there's actually a cycle to it.
I was gonna say
like
there is a
all
cycle.
randomly happening. And so it's an important asset class because it's now part of that rotation, right? And so when you start thinking about, wealth, you're talking about assets. The people that I'm buying a home from currently, they might not accept cryptocurrency right now, but I'm pretty sure my kids will be using it for, large purchases, right? Just because the applications aren't there in the world yet, but they will be.
I think that's a really good point to mention is like investing in crypto now as the, what do you call it, the
Diversification.
what do you call it, no, the
Cycle.
like the compounded interest, thank you.
Okay.
The compounded interest or the value of that will increase over the lifetime of your ownership of that. And real estate goes in that cycle. So it's gonna increase, decrease, increase, decrease, increase, decrease. But no matter what, this is gonna keep going where you can come back and purchase whatever you need or want or whatever with that currency. I think it's another.
And they have vending machines out already, so it's one of those things where it's starting to be a fixture
That's
in
what
our.
I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like I go to check out and it's like pay with Bitcoin.
Right.
Like
So yeah.
So like it's just it blows my mind, and that's why I'm like I'm happy to have this type of like conversation with you because like I felt like I was behind the times and I need to get with the program, and so I'm happy to like be learning this so I understand like what it all even means and what.
And I'm glad you said that because I felt like that. I got in NFTs January of 2021, which is probably earlier than most people, but I still felt late. But when you think in perspective, you're only really like within the first 10 years of this technology. So you're definitely not late. You're one of the first people to ever think about cryptocurrency. You're one of the first people to ever own cryptocurrency. In civilization's history, you're one of the first, right? So
thinking about generations after us.
Right, so imagine, when you talk about generational wealth, when you talk about, trust fund babies, we have the opportunity to have trust fund grandchildren. We really do because we're witnessing the emergence of a new asset, right? It's like when, they had Manifest Destiny and they let people come west, and buy and get whatever land they claim. And that carried generations and generations and generations. Well, when you talk about getting cryptocurrencies, at the prices they are today, 20, 30, 40 years from now, I mean, they're going to have to build a damn statue of you at the driveway of the family residence.
Yeah. I hear that. Yeah.
So this is the opportunity that we have. And, we need to, grow with the asset. We need to grow with this because this is a lifetime opportunity.
I really value that you are positioning it that way, like a new asset. I didn't look at it that way. I definitely looked at it like an extension of stuff that was there, but in reality, it is a new asset. You need to look at it that way.
Right.
And making sure that we're including that in our portfolios or even thinking about that when we're thinking about our kids' future. So.
We have a comment from Amano Dior. It says it's like the difference between owning the property versus owning the land.
Okay.
There you go.
Yeah, say that.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
And then another question from Alexis. Where is a good place to start with crypto if you're new to all of this?
This way to Wall Street. This way to Wall Street is good, and I say it's good because it's giving you just a lay of the land, and not just a lay of cryptocurrency, but a lay of Wall Street. And so when you talk about portfolio diversification and being able to make interpretations between price and value, being able to make distinctions, I really do think that this is a good place for any beginning investor to start.
Yeah. And I will also say that he's going to be doing more of these sessions with us, as well as hosting some classes and workshops. You guys definitely keep an eye out and look for that, because he has so much knowledge and is just so happy to help and share that with the community. So definitely keep an eye out for that.
Amano Dior says it's Erica. That's who that is. And then the Real Midnight Blue says, can you say that again?
About this, where to find it, or where to start?
Yes.
Yeah, start with This Way to Wall Street. It's available at Space Inside or MacTuggle.com.
I'll put your website.
And like I say, it's just gonna give you a good lay of the land. It's kind of like driver's ed. I mean, you might, take driving to a whole new level, or you might go off the unbeaten path, or you might learn how to drive in a congested freeway. Well, you still need to take driver's ed, get a lay of the land, get a feel for the vehicle, and then proceed, with caution from there.
And I think another thing to remember is, like, while you guys are doing your research online, something when I first got into stocks and was looking, even just getting into Wall Street and the market, something my brother taught me or told me that stuck with me is, like, a lot of these people online making these videos don't know what they're talking about, because there's a crap ton of money being lost in the market. A lot of people giving bad advice. And so you want to read and learn the tools and techniques and learn real skills and real understandings and getting that foundational understanding before you go out and start doing these tips and tricks that people are trying to get you to do. Just learn the foundation and then do what works for you.
One resource that I want to give you guys, it is my go-to resource, and it's not videos, it's Investopedia. If you go to Investopedia, you're going to get the most legitimate information available about whatever investing topic you're interested in. Whether it's stocks, whether it's crypto, bonds, whether it's ways to analyze, technical analysis, fundamental analysis, different nuances within those schools of thought. Investopedia it's like the Wikipedia for investing. And then so it's gonna, obviously, let's say that I type cryptocurrency in there, and then it's gonna highlight different parts of cryptocurrency that are relevant to what I'm interested in. You click that and you click that. I could go on all night, but I really, really recommend Investopedia, because once you kind of have a good knowledge or a foundation about what it is that a cryptocurrency is, or what it is that you're trying to understand, then you can navigate, the rest of the noise. Because there is a lot of noise, but Investopedia is going to give you a good signal. It's going to let you know what the signal is.
I agree. So I guess we talked about NFTs. Can we go into what an SBT is?
Right. So like I say, it's emerging and changing every day. So non-fungible tokens are, they're tradable, they're exchangeable. They're not one for one, as we have the water bottle discussion. They're non-fungible. But a soulbound token is a new kind of token to where the owner can never trade it. You can never ever trade it, and it's created on the blockchain, right? But the token that you own can never be exchanged or given away to anybody. So let's say a diploma, for instance.
Oh.
Right? Let's say a contract.
Okay.
Let's say, anything of real, significance. Let's say a will or an estate or, a last dying testament.
Gotcha.
These are soul-bound tokens, so they're once again, created on the blockchain, but they can never be traded or distributed or exchanged. They are like, total ownership.
Okay.
So the more that
it's so interesting that they use that term SBT, like soul bound token. I don't know if I love it.
right. I mean, it's
Scary.
no,
Yeah.
and that's what I'm saying. I mean, this is like new, right? But it's an emerging technology based on cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
And it's just a different way of perceiving the world, a different way of perceiving paperless and decentralization and, network security. It's just a new way of the world.
I don't know, I think I love it, I guess. It's like soul bound, Okay. So I guess with all these new, I guess as soul-bound tokens are pretty self-explanatory. Not so self-explanatory, but your explanation is pretty clear to me.
Right.
So then I guess the next one we have on here is tech-wise is this Web3 situation. Like, I gotta tell you, I have a friend of mine who is now like a Web3 developer. No freaking clue what that means. And I'm like, okay. And then I keep seeing Web3 pop up. Like, what is that related to this too then?
Yeah, so Web3 is cryptocurrency, right? We're back
Web3 is cryptocurrency?
Well, because it's blockchain technology, right? That's what we're using. So let's talk about Web 1. So Web 1, some of us were around for Web 1. I mean, you get on the internet and you read it. And it's, that's what you do. It's like a newspaper or a magazine. You get on there, you scroll, you read. You don't interact with it. You don't make a comment. You read the damn internet. That's what you did in Web 1. You scrolled, you typed in something in the web crawler, it popped up, you rolled, you scrolled it, right? Then Web 2 came, and now we can interact with the internet. Now I can go on Facebook and make a comment. Now I can make a post. Then I can interact with other people that are, on there. So that was Web 2. So Web 1, you can only read it. Web 2, you can interact with it. Now Web 3, you can actually control it and decentralize it. So that you don't have Google or Facebook or Instagram as the only people that can link people up or be, in control of the data, right? So it's kind of a different way of thinking about the internet.
Okay.
Web3 is, and it's using blockchain technology, but now we own, our commons. We're in control of our commons.
Okay. So does Web3 go into like data privacy and stuff?
It goes into data privacy. It goes into freedom of speech.
Okay.
So to be fair, Web3 could get a little raunchy, right?
I gotta say, like, I was kind of deterred away from Web3 because I didn't know anything about it. But now I'm like, wait a second, like, for privacy, for owning our own data, owning our own, like,
identity,
yeah,
right? Because we know that, Web 2, we know that Facebook snoops on us.
We have like 15,000 data points on each person or something.
Yeah.
Right. So Web 3 is kind of the elimination of this, right? When you talk about data privacy and owning your identity, that's Web 3.
Erica says, I love that. It will keep the future authentic.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's going to be a little raw, but it's going to be legit.
Yeah. Straight up.
Oh my goodness.
So, I mean, this is what our kids are going to be. We dealt with, Web 1 to Web 2.
Yeah.
And we're kind of, we're trying to grow with Web 3, but we don't know what the hell it is. But our kids are going to be transitioning from Web 2 to Web 3. Their experience is going to be different than our experience was with the internet. And, that's kind of why I think that it's important for us to also understand, because if you're a parent, you need to know what the hell your kids are talking about. And they're going to be talking about this. They're going to be running around to Centraland, and you're going to need to know where to find them.
Right.
So then, can you explain a little bit about Web3 a little more? Because I want to know more.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not definitely, disclaimer, not an expert on Web3. I'm still growing with it, just like everybody is. But I mean, that really is the essence.
So, do we access Web3 or
Well, the scary thing is that Jack Dorsey, famously was the CEO of Twitter, and now he's doing Square. He said he's on Web 5 already. And everybody's like, well, wait, what the hell was Web 4? Right? Yeah, Jack Dorsey said he's on Web 5.
I mean, I think he's just like, I'm on Web 5.
No, he did.
Yeah.
It's like, Web 3.
Right, yeah.
Web 5.
He big that.
No, he's on the moon.
Right.
But we
Yeah.
This guy is a leader in innovation. We know
Yeah.
this through Twitter. We know this through Square, which is a huge cryptocurrency.
Block.
Yeah, Block.
Oh,
Yeah.
we just did their holiday party.
No, thank you.
I mean, we just did it.
So I mean, this is a guy that's kind of a leader in thought, in the States, and he's on Web 5. So that's why I'm still,
Sweet.
yeah. So
Interesting. I am learning so much today.
that's good.
Okay, so with all of this, like when people are like, I'm looking. So how do you like store cryptocurrency then? I guess.
Right, so that's important because there's been some exchanges recently because there's been such turmoil in the crypto markets that they've said, hey, you can't pull your money out. There was a disclaimer in Coinbase that was like, when we file for bankruptcy, we can access the money on the exchange. So it's important that we know that because, if your money is on Coinbase or on MetaMask, it is accessible.
So what is Coinbase and MetaMask?
So,
Are those like platforms to purchase?
Right.
Marketplaces?
exactly. So they're marketplaces, and they can store your crypto for you, right?
Okay.
So when you store your crypto on Coinbase, I mean, you do own it, but you don't really own it because they could take it, right? So a way to prevent against that, there's a few ways to prevent against that. One is a hot wallet, the other one is a cold wallet, the other one is a paper wallet. So the most prehistoric is the paper wallet. Back in the day, well, let me just explain this first. A wallet is really only keys. So your crypto is always on the blockchain. Your crypto is always stored there. It's always going to be there. So because you have a wallet, your crypto isn't actually in there. But your keys to unlock your coins on the blockchain are in that wallet.
Gotcha. Okay.
So that's
the
a
keys
distinction.
to unlock the. Okay.
Right.
Gotcha.
So I have a crypto wallet. This is a cold storage, right?
Okay.
This is a Ledger wallet. Ledger is, one of the most popular, reliable, cold storage wallets, right? But this is really just a set of keys. So I can go in here, type in whatever, my 24-word password is. I'm not lying. It's 24 words.
Yes.
We're talking secure. When we talk about security, it's 24 words, right?
Yeah.
And so this is my set of keys. Even though it's a wallet, it's a set of keys to unlock my crypto on the blockchain.
Okay.
Right? And so this is a cold storage. They have one where you can print it out and it's a paper storage and I could put it in like a safety deposit box and it'll be a QR code and it'll like unlock, it's kind of like the first method of storing your crypto off the blockchain. They used to really do that. Print it off and put the little barcode in the safety deposit box, right? And then you have a hot wallet which is stored online and is convenient but not as safe
I was
as
gonna
a
say
cold
it's not as
wallet.
secure, right? So
Right.
it would be like it's kind of like saving your passwords in iCloud, but like with some like extreme security. But like this would be the most secure way versus, or this would
Right,
be
this
right?
right. This is
Okay.
the most efficient and secure.
Okay.
Paper's pretty secure. And then a hot wallet is secure, but it would be third.
So what if you
secure.
use that?
You're screwed.
Okay, so
Lately, right?
So they had a guy.
in the safety deposit box, like
Leave it alone.
No, so they had a guy, and that's what's so interesting about Bitcoin. I'm just gonna go back. This is
Yeah.
a little anecdotal story, but Bitcoin is scarce. They're only gonna ever make 21 Bitcoin ever. They'll never make more. Whereas gold, they're still discovering more gold. They just discovered a ton of gold in Africa, like a ton of gold, right?
yeah, of course.
But Bitcoin, they're never making more. Once 21 million are mined, that's it. I think we're at like 19 million Bitcoin right now. So there's like 2 million more to be mined, and then there'll never be any more made. Well, there's people that have died or lost their wallets, and they're never going to be able to access that Bitcoin. So there is an actual scarcity value to it. There was a guy, he was a rich guy, he He went swimming in Costa Rica, got swept out by a riptide and died. And he had like a bunch of Bitcoin, right? But those Bitcoin will never be accessed again because nobody knows where the wallet is.
Yeah.
Right? So it's very secure, but it's very secure.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, jeez. But I'm sorry to be that guy.
And it can't be unlocked by the people who own like the whole or who started
Only
it.
you can unlock your stuff. That's why it's, so secure.
Okay.
That's why the conversation around it is, about security, about scarcity, about distributed
Yeah.
ledgers, right?
Got a couple of shocked faces in the crowd.
Yeah, that's just, it's so, it's wild to me, I guess having the understanding of the security of it and why it's that way, it's interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, so what, okay, so moving on about the scary part of it, what is like exciting for you right now with Bitcoin? What cryptocurrencies are you excited about? I said with Bitcoin.
No, yeah, I'm excited about Bitcoin. There is a distinction, once again, cryptocurrencies and tokens are a little different. Shiba Inu is a token. It's built on top of Ethereum, which is a cryptocurrency. So there's a distinction, right? And so Bitcoin I'm excited about. We've seen, a tremendous increase in value, from a few dollars up to 69,000, and now it's back down to 19,000, right? And I know that a lot of people are discouraged about this. I know that a lot of people are negative in their Bitcoin investment, and I'm negative in my Bitcoin investment. No cap, no drag. I'm negative in my Bitcoin investment. But that doesn't mean that I'm not excited about the asset class or excited about, the potential, right? And I don't just mean the potential of the technology, but I mean the potential of money that can be made, with this particular asset, right? So I'm excited about Bitcoin because it is, one of the most secure cryptocurrencies. It is one of the most scarce cryptocurrencies. AT&T, they can do more stock. Amazon just did a stock split, 20 for 1, right? If you had 1 share of Amazon, you got 20 shares of Amazon. So Amazon was at 2,200 that day, 2,400. The next morning you woke up, you had 20 shares for 125 a piece. That's not happening with Bitcoin. You can't. It's not allowable. It's never going to happen. So that's one reason I'm really, really excited about, the scarcity value of it. Ethereum is another cryptocurrency I'm really excited about. Ethereum went up to almost $5,000. Now it's back down to $1,000. So
you can get it.
Yeah, this is one of the most, when you talk about utility, when you talk about the most useful cryptocurrency, it's Ethereum. So they kind of say Bitcoin is gold and Ethereum is silver, if you want to think about it like that. Okay. They're both metals, they're both cryptocurrencies, but Bitcoin is more scarce, like gold, and Ethereum is more useful, like silver. Right? Because we know that people aren't really using gold like that. You're using silver, palladium.
Cherishing.
Exactly. Well, that's the kind of the equivalent of Bitcoin and Ethereum. The gold and silver of the cryptocurrencies. I also like Solana. I like Cardano, which is ADA. Their token is ADA. And I say token because it's built on, another blockchain. So these are all pretty much based on Ethereum. And that's why I say Ethereum is so important because Matic, which is another one of my favorite tokens, is built on Ethereum. So most of your, applications, your NFTs, they're built on Ethereum. So I'm really excited about Ethereum, Bitcoin, and the applications or tokens that are using the Ethereum technology. Solana is another one. Solana went up to $250. Now it's back down to $30. Right? So if you haven't invested in cryptocurrency,
I'm like, ooh.
No, you're talking about cryptocurrencies that have declined 80% in value. So I'm not telling you to go buy them today and to, go, leverage, the farm and buy a bunch. But I'm saying that you're entering at a time when we've seen, a nice reduction in prices And now you just want to start thinking about it. You want to start researching it, but you're not buying the highs.
You're not buying the
highs.
initial.
No, the guys who got in and then sold, you're not buying that.
Yeah.
You really have an opportunity now to build some wealth.
Yeah.
Right? And a guy like me, I've suffered through the crypto winter. Now, not miserably because I had a strategy, not miserably because I had a little bit of forecast, but I'm still, negative for the year in my crypto investments, no doubt about it. So for those of you watching that aren't really, don't have any skin in the game, you really have a fabulous opportunity to start building a portfolio. I didn't say get rich right now. I said to start building a portfolio.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So, how are you building your portfolio?
I'm building it through dollar cost averaging, right?
So,
which means that I buy, a certain amount on a regular schedule, right? So if I buy, Bitcoin $50 worth every Friday, no matter what the price is, I'm dollar cost averaging. I'm building a position, right?
Okay.
And over time, I'll get an average price, right? So I use dollar cost averaging as my, my investing strategy. And then I just really, really try to focus on, what we've talked about in prior conversations, using technical analysis, looking for support and resistance. You can ask my wife. We were sitting on the couch and we were chilling, and I was like, man, I'm just waiting for Bitcoin to hit 20,000. And it was at like 30,000 at that time. And she, she literally like logs on her thing, and she's like, it's at 20,000 right now. And I'm like, what the hell?
Look at God.
Look at God, right? Look at God being great. But this was, I knew that there was support there.
Yeah.
I knew that it would want to revisit that area.
Yeah.
And it revisited it that day. I did not expect it to happen so fast, right?
That's great.
But I try to focus on support and resistance and just kind of test those areas. I'm not going all in because I do believe, like the Isaac law of motion, a trend in motion is in motion until it shows that it's reversing. So we're clearly in a downtrend, and we're going to stay in a downtrend until we're no longer in a downtrend.
Yeah.
That sounds crazy, but
It
you
makes
need to
sense.
see an increase before you start feeling really confident.
Yeah.
So right now, I'm not being aggressive. I'm not, leveraging the farm. I'm just buying little bits and pieces of currencies that I'm interested in to start building my position.
So would you say that like dollar cost average is the recommended way to go about investing as like a new investor in this world? Like, would you recommend saying like, okay, take
I do.
take $50 every paycheck or $100 every paycheck and just.
I'm literally buying a condo right now off of dollar cost averaging. Off of dollar cost averaging. My portfolio at the time that I had to sell wasn't even at a great point necessarily because I had to sell this year. But because of my strategy, I had a lot of money in there just because I was faithful in my dollar cost average.
And so,
no matter what, I never got shook. Never got shook. And even though I didn't realize a whole lot of gains in that particular portfolio, just the strategy of dollar cost averaging put me way ahead over the last 8 years.
I believe it is.
Right.
Yeah, because you're looking at like your return on your investment and you're buying low sometimes, you may buy a little higher sometimes, but on average you're okay.
Right. So when you talk about habits and you talk about, building wealth, these are the things that you're talking about. There's a book called The Millionaire Next Door. It was written probably 20 years ago, but it talks about your average guy next door that has a pension, has a 401k, doesn't drive a fancy car, has a nice house, and he's a damn millionaire, right? Like seriously, and we all know got uncles and stuff like that just kind of been low key and working their 3 or 4 tracksuits and stacking on them, right? So, I do think dollar cost averaging is a good way for, us to start getting involved in the crypto markets. And I think it's a way to manage risk. I think right now it's important that we manage risk. The market has shown us we need to think about risk. So this is a good strategy for those of you who are new to, get some skin in the game.
Well, you talked about that other book. When is your next book coming out?
So my plan for my next book is gonna be cryptocurrency devoted.
Oh,
Yeah,
So
right?
you got another book coming
Yeah,
out.
we got another book
Yay.
coming out, and we're shooting for next year.
Fantastic. Well, I hope that we'll be able to have some copies here inside, of course. But
Yeah, I mean we're gonna do the debut party with you guys, and yeah, absolutely.
that's going to be exciting. Well,
Yeah.
I appreciate it. Is there any other questions, comments, anything else, you guys?
Nope.
We're all set. Well, thank you so much for coming and sharing your time with us.
Yeah, absolutely. Don't forget, Space Inside or MacTugler.com. This Way to Wall Street. Also on MacTugler.com, you can subscribe to the Money Letter. This is a monthly letter that comes out. It's also available down here for pickup at Space Inside. So I look forward to your questions, anything you guys got for me. And until next time,
Next time is August 7th. Yep.
Yeah, so we'll be again August 7th. If you have anything
Get your
that
questions
you really want
ready.
to talk about, yeah, please let us know.
Yeah. Thanks, you guys. Bye.
Thank you.
Good.
Good job.
You did great.
Thanks.
Thank you.
You guys learned stuff today?